On that day, every person in the U.S. was alerted.
Missile loose! Missile loose!
Terrorists threatened to destroy an entire city.
But you can never again set foot on your native soil.
So, the government was left with no other option but to call their best agent, who really had a clever plan to destroy them all. Welcome back. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me.
You will not.
He took off his wedding ring, squeezed into his old military uniform, medals glinting like he was heading to a reunion of badasses, and made his way to the graveyard in pouring rain. General Hummel had some unfinished business with his wife, something he couldn't bring himself to say when she was alive. It wasn't that he was scared, it's just, duty to the family came first. Better late than never, right? Flashback to 20 years ago. Hummel was out winning battles and collecting shiny medals. But 83 of his men didn't make it back home. And what did they get in return? Zilch. No military honors, no financial help for their families, not even a thanks for your service pat on the back. For 2 decades, he tried to get anyone, to care, but apparently, top secret missions come with a don't talk about it policy. Funny how they forget about you once you're not useful anymore. After his chat with his wife, Hummel left his Medal of Honor at her grave. You could almost hear him whisper, "Don't wait up, honey." Then he walked off like a man on a mission. That night, as the storm raged, his team snuck into the armor. Picture this, a bunch of tough guys armed with crossbows. Yeah, medieval vibes. Hummel used his rank to get inside, claiming it was an inspection. Meanwhile, his team played ninja, taking out the guards one by one. When they got inside, they snagged 16 VX bombs like it was a Black Friday sale. During the raid, one bomb slipped, cracking a green orb. Hummel was like, "Nope, we're not dying today," and ordered everyone to retreat, even though one of their own got stuck inside. Tough luck, buddy. Now, you've probably heard of Alcatraz Island. It's a tourist trap now. But back in the day, 14 people tried to escape and failed miserably. Tourists were busy getting their prison experience, probably thinking, "Oh, how spooky," when Hummel's crew rolled in and turned the joint into their headquarters. Pretty soon, those visitors were like, "Wait a minute, we're not on a fun tour anymore, are we?" "Nope, congratulations, you're hostages now." Hummel gathered his squad, vets from Vietnam, Gulf War buddies, and a captain he barely knew. Not your average group of soldiers, more like an action movie cast. Hummel laid it out. This mission could get them labeled as traitors, possibly even a death sentence. But hey, when history books are written, they'll be the good guys, right? The plan was simple. Hold the tourists and the VX bombs hostage. Demand a cool $100 million and make their exit in 48 hours. The catch: they'd have to skip town forever. Bummer, no more hot dogs or football games for them. At 7:40 a.m., FBI Director Womack got the bad news. He probably spilled his coffee. Cancel everything. Alcatraz had been taken over, and 81 hostages were at risk. Oh, and Hummel had snagged 15 VX missiles. A quick glance at Hummel's file? Dude was a living legend. 3 Purple Hearts, 2 Silver Stars, and a Medal of Honor. Basically, this guy could have starred in his own action figure line. Hummel called up his old pals in a conference room and skipped the small talk. 20 years ago, 83 Marines under his command died, and their families didn't get squat. Now, he wanted $100 million transferred from the super-secret Red Sea trading company. What's that, you ask? Just your everyday Pentagon slush fund for sketchy arms deals. Nothing to see here. If Hummel didn't get his cash, he'd blow up San Francisco Bay in 40 hours. 1 VX missile? It'd wipe out 70,000 people. Easy. That's not even counting the seagulls. The situation was bad, like we need a hero bad. Enter Goodspeed, an FBI chemist on vacation with his fiancée. He got the call, had about 10 minutes to pack up, and off to San Francisco he went. But getting to Hummel wasn't going to be easy. The only way onto the island was through the prison's ancient underground tunnels, and no one knew the layout anymore. The warden had died, and the place was basically a puzzle. Solution? Find someone who'd actually escaped Alcatraz before. Enter Mason, the original breakout king. Mason had been locked up for 30 years, and naturally, he wasn't super eager to help. "You want me to go back to Alcatraz?" "Nah, I'm good." But they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. A stay at the fancy Fairmont Hotel. I mean, who could resist that? With time running out, Goodspeed handed him everything he wanted, even a pardon. What followed was one of the most ridiculous car chases of the 90s. Mason hijacked a Hummer, and Goodspeed tried to keep up in a Ferrari. Spoiler, Ferrari didn't stand a chance. Mason eventually met up with his daughter, who had no clue her dad was basically a criminal mastermind. But hey, family reunions are always awkward, right? In the end, Mason agreed to help. But as they kicked off the mission, they quickly realized it wasn't just about beating the clock. It was about stopping Hummel's ticking VX bombs. Who said vacations aren't exciting? The team made their way back into the tunnel, heading directly under the bathrooms where they were supposed to enter. Unfortunately, General Hummel had set up laser sensors everywhere. Even though they tried to use prisms to avoid detection, they triggered some vibration sensors, which blew their cover. Hummel's men quickly surrounded the area, while the team below had no idea they were compromised. General Hummel called out, asking them to surrender, reminding them about their fellow soldiers. But the sergeant, much like Hummel in his prime, wasn't backing down. Both sides knew that if bullets started flying, everyone was done. Tensions rose as Captain Fry quietly suggested to his men that they should just wipe out the SEAL team. As a rock fell, chaos erupted. Gunfire exploded from both sides, but Hummel, not wanting bloodshed, screamed for everyone to stop. However, his men, with the higher ground, swiftly took out the entire squad. In the tunnel, only one soldier was left, trying to climb up to fight alongside his fallen team, even if it meant his death. Eventually, he too was shot down, leaving Mason and Goodspeed as the only survivors on the island. Mason, realizing the gravity of the situation, dropped his weapon and walked away. Back at HQ, they knew the mission had failed, but Womack, familiar with Mason's abilities, wasn't ready to throw in the towel. He told the team that as long as Mason was alive, there was still hope. HQ contacted Goodspeed, and he spilled everything to Mason to keep him on board. Goodspeed, a chemical weapons specialist, revealed that General Hummel had 15 VX gas bombs, capable of wiping out half of San Francisco if they didn't transfer the money. Not to mention, Goodspeed's girlfriend and Mason's daughter were both in the city. Meanwhile, Hummel's men, realizing there were survivors, continued their search. They threw explosives into the sewer, trapping Mason and Goodspeed. After barely escaping, Mason led Goodspeed to the morgue, where they faced another soldier. Mason attacked first, and during the chaos, Goodspeed spotted the VX gas missiles and yelled for Mason not to shoot in their direction. At one point, a soldier was hit, and things were looking grim. Mason managed to shoot an air conditioner unit, crushing the soldier. After disarming one of the missiles, Goodspeed explained the deadly nature of VX gas, which attacks the nervous system, causing agonizing death. Goodspeed removed the guidance chips, rendering the missile useless. The quiet in the morgue tipped off Hummel that something was wrong. With gunfire still raging, they managed to escape, hopping onto a rail car while soldiers chased them. Goodspeed clung to a water trough as Mason fell beneath the tracks. The enemy caught up, but Mason had a trick up his sleeve, spraying gasoline and lighting a soldier on fire. He then disarmed him and let him fall into the water. But the fight was far from over. Grenades were tossed, and explosions rocked the area. Mason, though older, skillfully took down several soldiers, but struggled with the physicality. Luckily, Goodspeed stepped up, fired critical shots. Still, Goodspeed was baffled by Mason's calm demeanor under pressure, and it was only then he learned that Mason had been a British secret agent. With just 8 hours left before the deadline, the higher-ups had a backup plan: blow up Alcatraz if things went south. In the meantime, Hummel brought out the hostages and made a new demand. He wanted the navigation chips, or he'd start killing hostages. Goodspeed was unsure, but Mason crushed the chips, sealing their fate. Mason, in a bold move, walked alone toward Hummel, while Goodspeed found another missile. Hummel, surprised to see an older adversary, listened as Mason introduced himself, revealing his past connection to Alcatraz. While Goodspeed was busy disarming the missile, he was discovered. Hummel ordered that they be brought back alive, but the two managed to smash more navigation chips before being captured. Locked up, Goodspeed wouldn't stop talking, while Mason kept busy tearing sheets and sharing his story of being locked up 30 years ago over a roll of film. Goodspeed, intrigued, asked how Mason had first escaped. As time was running out, Mason suspected Hummel wouldn't actually go through with the mass murder. But under pressure, Hummel launched a missile. It soared toward a football stadium, but just before impact, Hummel redirected it into the sea. Hummel's men, realizing he wasn't committed to the cause, turned against him. Major Baxter, one of Hummel's closest allies, even took a bullet for him, but it was too late. Hummel revealed the location of the last missile before collapsing. Goodspeed rushed to the lighthouse, where he disarmed the bomb just as Captain Fry closed in on him. In a last-ditch effort, Goodspeed shoved a VX gas pearl into Fry's mouth. Though one pearl wouldn't kill him, it would be enough to ensure both their deaths. Goodspeed managed to inject himself with the antidote just in time. As the airstrike approached, Goodspeed retrieved a flare and signaled the jets, stopping the bombs just in time. Mason pulled him out of the water, and Goodspeed reported back to HQ that the mission was a success. When asked about Mason, Goodspeed lied, claiming he was dead, allowing Mason to slip away. With a tip about hidden cash, Mason vanished, leaving Goodspeed with a monumental secret from 30 years ago. The movie ends as they drive off into their next adventure.